I'm here today at CSA Gym in Dublin, California. My good friend Jesse Burdick has worked here for several years, runs powerlifting meets, but today is a unique opportunity to meet a world famous coach. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, just because it's been a long time. I have never met the guy before. Get the opportunity to meet Boris, Sheiko, and Sheiko Koklyaev. And so far, going through some of the stuff they've had at the seminar, I haven't been to a seminar that's been like this hands-on and instructional in the very beginning, where Boris was going over all the percentages. I've heard for years about the Sheiko program and the Sheiko system, and I hear people say all the time, oh, I do Sheiko squats or this guy's program or that guy's program, and I never really looked into it a whole lot. Most of my career, I've done a lot of the methods by Louis Simmons and Westside Barbell, and that always worked well for me, so I didn't explore too much else. But I've always been interested to see what Boris had to say, and it's great that both of them are so passionate about strength training. And Boris has he's got the medals to kind of back it up. I think he's got something like 38 world champions or something behind him. And then Sheiko Koklyaev is arguably the strongest person in the history of persons. He's amazing at strongman, Olympic lifting, powerlifting. He might have even done some Highland Games. I don't know what else the guy's done, but real powerhouse. And just some of the stuff that he showed me today, I think is really going to help my training and help me as a coach. I learned a lot of new stuff today from Misha. The first thing was in a deadlift, just kind of sit back into my deadlift a little bit more, get a little bit more into my hamstrings, and then also from there, drop my hips down and use my quads a little bit more. I've kind of always been aware that that's an issue for me, but I never knew, I didn't have the tools or the exercises or didn't have the know-how on sort of how to fix it. And so he gave me a special exercise today where we stuck a box up against the wall, and I kind of jammed my calf back into the box, and I pushed a lot of my energy backwards as I was kind of pulling the weight into me. But the most effective thing that I learned today that I'm going to implement immediately is just slowing everything the fuck down a little bit. I'm always in such a rush. I think it's kind of the American way to kind of try to push forward. Like, you think if you are just working so hard and so fast that like a bunch of cool shit's gonna happen. But I learned today that you're a lot better off really taking the time to do the exercises properly and to do them the right way, and to really realize that you have a long period of time. The strength game is not something that's going to be cultivated overnight. It's going to take a very long time to become truly strong. And so with like the squat, I always think you got to go down fast in the squat. And they said, basically, they were just kind of saying, slow it down, make sure that you're keeping your positioning. And I'm sure there's some variation in there with some of the cream of the crop. Maybe some of the bigger guys or some of the better guys can move a little faster because they're professional now. They've been doing it for 20 years. But for someone like myself, who, even though I have been lifting for a long time, I'm not super proficient in the squat, I'm going to listen to what he says, and it felt a lot better. I felt instantly stronger, which a lot of times is weird. Anytime you make a change when you've been lifting as long as I have, usually you lift less weight, but these were good positive changes, and I really can't wait to implement them. The material presented today by Boris, Sheiko, in my opinion, wasn't complicated. Having only heard about the programming before, it always used to sound and look to me, whenever someone would show it to me, it always sounded complicated. But he really broke it down today, some of the different techniques and some of the different things he utilizes to make his programming unique. What I really liked about it, what surprised me about it is, I think in the US, our programs used to be set up, they're maybe not so much anymore, but they used to be set up kind of on the backbone of that you're going to go to like a Gold's Gym or a World Gym, and you're going to have this machine and that machine next to each other. And so you would do like a squat and then like a leg press, and then like a leg curl, and then some calves, and then you'd be done. Boris's program is nothing like that. It's purely what's going to be optimal for the athlete. It's not about what's going to be the easy way. It definitely looks to be very difficult. Like you go from a squat to a bench, back to a squat. There's some days that are like that, or you go from a deadlift to a squat to a bench. There's some days where you're going to be all over the gym, utilizing the entire gym. But it still didn't seem complicated to me because he broke down the reasons why he likes to implement that style of training. The other thing is I think, again, a lot of the American lifters, and not there's anything wrong with that. There's a lot of different styles of training that will work for people, and you got to try to find what's going to work for you. But what I liked about what I saw from this system is it seems like the volume and just the amount of overall work is kind of just sprinkled out throughout the week, rather than you just bench pressing on one day and doing a close grip bench press, biceps, shoulders, triceps, and just overloading your upper body with 10 different exercises. He doesn't have you lift that way. You'll do a bench press on one particular day. You might do 1 or 2 assistance movements for that lift, but you don't have time to do a lot of assistance work because the main focus for him is on the actual main lift itself, which I think is pretty cool.